Hey, what's up team? So today we're going to be going over the latest patch notes for patch 2.40. There's a lot to dive into here, including some big changes to rune management, guild raids, and material transmutation, and a lot more. So let's break it down. So downtime will begin at 10:30 p.m. PT, 5:30 a.m. UTC on April 2nd and last approximately 3.5 hours. So first up, they've completely revamped the Rune System. There's now a new Rune Book UI added to the item section of the main menu, and instead of hoarding multiple copies of the same rune, you'll now unlock a unified entry in the Rune Book UI that levels up as you go. Runes can be equipped to multiple items, and Chaos runes will still only work for one item at a time. This is a huge improvement, and it clears up some of the clutter and adds a more organized way of tracking your runes. And it's also going to save on a ton of inventory space. Rune synergies have also been simplified by removing the various quality of tiers. So what this means is you won't have different stats for the different rune synergy tiers, and we'll have one maximized tier for the rune synergies, and providing a single maximized synergy benefit for each rune color combination. The rune listings now allow you to search for favorites and filter through the list of your available runes. When selecting an item to modify equipped runes, the rune list will now only show runes that are eligible to equip to that item type. We'll also be able to drag and drop runes from your collection list to the item's unlocked rune slots in the top section of the UI to equip runes to an item. The rune list now displays the level, stat benefit, and stat value of each collected rune, along with a new experience progress bar that displays along the bottom of the entry. So now when you receive runes of the same level as the one you've collected, the progress bar increases until it fills. This is acting sort of like a fail stack for our runes now. Basically, it's going to be a lot easier to upgrade your runes. As for Chaos runes, a maximum of 100 can be stored in the new Rune UI, and Chaos runes you don't intend to be used can be deleted from the list, freeing up some space. And rune fragments will no longer be able to be acquired anymore. And any existing rune fragments in your inventory or storage will eventually be removed. So after this system goes live, I recommend using up all of your rune fragments, or risk losing them. After that, we have some changes to guild raid and Riftstone bosses. They've adjusted the loot drop tables for the Talandre raid and Riftstone bosses, specifically Diagon, Leviathan, Pakilunaru, and the Manticus brothers, to now include a guaranteed tier 2 armor or accessory drop on each kill in addition to the current loot pool. So this is a fantastic change for anyone who's grinding these bosses. Getting a guaranteed tier 2 accessory or armor each time makes these raids feel a bit more rewarding. It should make gearing up a bit easier for a lot of players who need these drops. After that, we have some changes to Material Transmutation. They've implemented an option to auto-add designated material types and grades to Material Transmutation progress. They've also added the ability to split stacks of items when adding items to Material Transmutation, and bulk adding materials now selects up to 300 instead of the previous cap, which was 20. So the increased stack limit for bulk adding materials is going to save a lot of time, as well as auto adding materials will streamline a lot of the transmutation process. A pretty good quality of life change here. So let's move on to some general changes. Here we have some fixes for dimensional trials, where they fixed an issue preventing groups from posting on the party board recruitment above tier 1. They've added an option to copy a skills preset specialization instead of starting out on a blank page. Your skill presets can now be pasted in the chat as a link to allow others to copy the skill preset specialization. Rare rune chests are being replaced with epic rune chests for dimensional trials, the weekly mission board, arena coin shop, abyss dungeons, world bosses, guild raids, and material transmutation. And they've also removed the epic tier 2 and tier 1 equipment drops from basic zone population mobs. So probably the sharks and other mobs that have had incorrect drop tables have been fixed now. We have an adjustment to the crafting menu for items like skill books to allow the combining of component ingredients that have multiple substitutes into a single craft. They've added an arena sundries merchant to the Herba Village arena, so that should be available in town now. So the tax deliverer, siege, and inter-server Riftstone and Boonstone award distribution can now be distributed unevenly when distributing to all members. So hopefully your guild has fair rules, or this change might affect you. In the Gate of Affinity tab for Tadel's Tower, they've added the ability to move to other floors without exiting the dungeon. This was always pretty annoying when completing your contracts, so a good change here. We have a new targeting option in the nameplate settings to prevent nameplate transparency being applied to targets who are actively attacking you. In Siege, there's a couple small adjustments to the defense area boundaries to teleport out non-defenders from walls at the start of a siege. And we have a bug fix to Arena where some food buffs weren't being removed correctly. A couple changes to Nebula Island here, where they've reduced some ceiling clutter in the boss arena, and fixed an issue where Grimturg's attack pattern would behave unexpectedly when the aggro target was at a distance. We have a guild raid fix for Pikalunaru, and a bug fix for wind indicators, which were displaying incorrectly in cutscenes. Next up, we have some changes to the Hall of Illusion, so our solo dungeon, where they've added a checkpoint to the Hall of Illusion levels, where you'll be able to take breaks now in between the segments. Volgrass is getting a fix, where he would occasionally teleport out of the attackable arena, and his totems respawn 10 seconds after he returns to the center of the arena. They fixed a bug with Lionhead, which would cause the Zone of Pain effect to apply, even though your interaction was interrupted. And after that, we have some wargame changes, where they've added a new display to show which members weapons have on each team. You can edit the display name of your wargame lobbies now, and a minor adjustment to the color displayed for the yellow team to avoid overlap with the yellow used for friendly guilds. And after that, we have some UI changes. Chained damage or healing now displays as an increasing floating damage number that sums up the total damage after healing done, rather than a separate number for each hit. We have a HUD change where they've added a setting to enable or disable item acquisition pop-up messages. In Weapon Mastery, they've added some shortcuts to open the material containers in your storage for material costs needed to unlock Weapon Mastery nodes. We have an adjustment to the Hall of Illusion reward pop-up to clarify the rewards, as they can only be claimed once. A guild menu adjustment. You can now add a hotkey for the Amatoy House and fishing, a currency bug fix, some minor adjustments to the lithograph information when viewing item tooltip details, and Gamepad had some multiple adjustments to the UI windows for focus areas and window priority. So that's pretty much it for all the patch notes for 2.40, especially in rune management with the new Rune Book UI system. This was a much needed change and should bring some good quality of life to the game. Consider leaving a like or a sub as it really helps out the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.